Hi everybody and welcome back to I Can View This All Day. Now we have listened to you. We did a video about the Incredible Hulk and you have begged us, pleaded with us to go back and watch The Hulk 2003, and you told us it was a great movie and our previous comments weren't fair on it. James, what did you think of this?
Do you know, I've seen this once. I saw this when I was 8 or 9. Peak Marvel fandom. Like Spider-Man was out, loved them. I got Daredevil on VHS, loved it. I got this. And do you know what? As an 8-year-old, what you really want to see in a movie is a frog just burst like a balloon in a pope of blood. You really want to see your main hero character choke a toddler.
Why, Kermit? Why?
You know, I just don't understand. I thought going back into this, maybe it's like, oh, it's a more of an intellectual film. Maybe I'll enjoy it more as an adult. No, I think this is an absolute snooze fest. Like just awful. Awful.
Now listen. Before we get into it, like I say, people have asked us to go back and review this, so it's obviously a lot of people's favorite film. Some people really like this, so we're not here to shit on your views. If you like this film,
I absolutely am. I think if you like this film, you have no taste, man.
Yeah, I'm cutting that out. My channel, not yours, you dickhead. Yeah. So no. So listen, no, it's not to upset. People are entitled to their own view, but I have to be honest. And now I'm going to start with some positives. There are elements of this movie that I liked. I think the fight scenes are pretty.
What fight scenes? What fight scenes would that be?
Yeah, you're being disingenuous, James. There are some good fight scenes in this. The dog thing's pretty good. Fighting the tanks is pretty good. And boss, what the fuck? What? Just blurring lights and flashing stuff and Nick Nolte's voice.
Just what a bizarre decision to go for. What was it? It's the
Absorbing. It's the friggin'
absorbing man. Yeah, like you could have done Maestro. You could have made him Abomination. You could have made him the leader if you wanted to. You could have done anything with him, and you go, oh, we'll have him be absorbing man. He turns into a big lightning thing, and he absorbs too much of Hulk. It's like what?
And a big weird kind of bubble at the end. I don't even know what. I
turns into like a giant jellyfish that just like floats up.
Take it all, and then there's this big bubble, and that's it. It's
so strange, just bizarre.
I thought the fight with the tanks was really good. I enjoyed that.
Goes on a bit long.
Yeah, you know what? You want a bit long. Shut up.
It eventually it just turns into it's like a 10-minute of him just kind of fumbling through the desert, you know, and then tanks start, and then it stops, and then. You know, he's jumping for a bit.
Oh, you see, no, I disagree. I loved the jumping for a bit. That's a bit
some of the jumping.
Yeah, that's the bit we've not had in other films. I like the fact that you see him kind of developing his style and his powers and jumping and waving his arms around because he doesn't really know what he's doing. That's pretty good. I like that element. The dogs, Hulk Poodle.
Yeah, an hour into the movie, is it, until the first fight? He doesn't turn into Hulk until like 40-something minutes in as well, which really
it's a good chunk.
Makes the first bit drag. I thought the fight itself is fine, but it's like you want to see Hulk fight another big Hulk thing, you know? So just like he's fighting dogs, it's like, okay.
I have no problem with fighting Hulk dogs. I think that's pretty cool. I liked the bit where he pops the dog's jaw with his muscles. I liked the bit where he swings it and splats it against a tree or puts his fist through it. My usual complaint, it's all pitch black, man. I cannot work out what's going on.
I thought that too as well. I couldn't even see what was happening in it, yeah.
It's just shapes a lot of the time for us. And I'm thinking, is this my eyes? Is my cataracts playing up?
Yeah, they have to hide the CG, man. It makes it look better. Apparently.
Speaking of CG, I don't think that this is as bad as I remember. I think the design of the Hulk is pretty good. My problem with him is his greenness, if that makes sense.
Yes.
He's like a strange colour, isn't he?
He's like luminescent green. Like he's like so green. Yeah, it's way too much and it just makes him stand out too much. I think the CG for the time particularly is pretty good. Like there's bits where he's wet or he's covered in like oil. And he looks like he has texture and stuff. My biggest problem, aside from the green, I think he's way too big. Like he's like King Kong sized in some parts of this. And I know like initially when he turns, he's kind of regular Hulk sized, and then he gets angrier as the movie goes on. He gets bigger and bigger. And I didn't really like that aspect of it.
So let me know in the comments, is this a trope from the comics? Does the Hulk get bigger the angrier he gets? I know he gets stronger the angrier he gets, but I don't know that I've seen him getting to that kind of kaiju size. Speaking of origins, his dad experimented on him with something about a starfish. I don't know. That's new, isn't it?
I get what they're going for. That it's like they're trying to link, you know, his turning into Hulk to like trauma, and like it's supposed to be kind of some kind of commentary on trauma. But I just think, like, especially because you want kid, like, I remember the Hulk smashy hands and the action figures and shit that came out for this movie. Like, no kid wants to see the main character's dad stab his mom to death, like, towards the end of the movie. You know, it just was so weird. So I thought it was a strange origin choice for this.
I've got a problem with that. What I've got a problem with is the genetic kind of mucking around at the start where he's basically a mutant, I guess you would argue. Tell you what I did like. I liked the fact that, you know, when you get kind of the initial gamma dose at the start, which was a bit of a wet squid for me. It wasn't like a big banging out. Anyway, when you get that, or when you get him looking in the mirror, you get the Hulk face looking back at him, or his eye turning into the Hulk. I think that was quite clever, quite artistic. Now, speaking of artistic, I'm not into kind of lingering shots at moss on a rock. I'm not into pictures of bark. I don't know what. I'm sure more intelligent people than me think that that's very nice. But for me, that's not what I was hoping for in a Hulk film.
That didn't stand out to me really in terms of like the direction of the movie. One thing that I really enjoyed was making it look like a comic book with the paneling and the multi-shot cameras and stuff like that. I really enjoyed that, and we've not really seen another movie do that until like Spider-Verse. I think was the first time like they tried to replicate the look of a comic in a film.
You do surprise us. I wasn't expecting you to say that you enjoyed that element. It's not that I didn't enjoy it. I found it disruptive, to be honest. I get what they were trying to do. I think it's an interesting aesthetic, but there were times it felt like you'd given the editing director a new editing program. Do you know when you get the new editing program, you've got all the different options, and you just, I'm having a go of everything. I'm having a go of everything, and it was just like, how are you, man? Calm yourself down.
No, I liked it. I thought it was cool. It was unique, but it's strange because the movie's so uncomic book like that. It's a strange movie to do that with, you know.
Did you laugh when Talbot gets exploded and it outlines him flying towards the camera?
God, that was awful. That was so bad. Yeah, like I can't, I'm not even going to try and excuse that. And I just think Talbot in general in this is so, like, he's so stupid. Like, he's half beaten to death and he goes in trying to make him turn into the Hulk because, like, we're going to take your thing. He's like, man, you're in the room with him. You're going to get just, like, slammed in half.
What did you think of Eric Banner as Bruce Banner? Did you think he was a good portrayal of Bruce?
I don't think his performance is bad. I think the characterization is bad. Like, he has no charm or charisma whatsoever at all. And when you're leading the film, I think you need a bit of that, you know.
Absolutely agree with that. He's a fine actor. I've seen him in a lot of movies. I like him a lot. In this, him and Betty, to be honest, I didn't feel much for either of them. Sam Neill as General Ross,
awesome.
Great.
Loved him.
Great.
Yeah, fantastic.
Loved him.
Yeah.
I mean, there were times when the Hulk, I really got that kind of petulant child kind of look at him. He was banging around and screaming and sulking. I thought that was quite good. I did quite like that.
Well, he sulks most of the time. He's not even that angry most of the time in the movie. He's crying or he's looking at things like childlike, you know.
I think we're going to get flamed in the comments for a review of this video. But again, I have to be honest. I like me tragic Hulk. I like my crying Hulk, you know, my raging against the sky kind of thing. It should be a horror story. It's Jekyll and Hyde. It's Frankenstein. To have a line where Bruce Banner says, do you know what, I quite like turning to the Hulk. It's good fun, isn't it?
No, I don't mind it. I buy that as a character thing, that like not that he wants to turn. I suppose like other versions are like terrified of turning and like they do everything they can to not.
I guess he's not really aware of the horror of the Hulk yet. I'll let him off for that. It's the first turn, I guess. The more times he's killed people, and well, he doesn't kill anybody in this. Every time you see a helicopter crash or a tank turn over, you get a radio in the background. Oh, I'm all right.
He shakes them out of the tank first before he kills them. Yeah.
I guess this is a portrayal of the Hulk that is very much the hero, isn't it? Because you get the scene where the fighter jet's going to crash into the bridge and he jumps in the back of it to try and divert it.
I enjoyed that as well.
That's
that
good.
was good.
What did you think of Nick Nolte as Hulk's dad?
He's just Nick Nolte in it. Like, he's just an absolute loon, crazy looking. I love how he didn't cut his hair or shave or anything. I think he just showed up to set like that, you know. I think he's a good presence in the movie. I think like the movie overall is pretty humorless. So I think to have someone who I think does carry the screen when he's on screen, you know, I think is a good thing. So I think he's a positive element to the film, definitely.
Yeah, I like him when he's portraying the father. I like the bit at the airbase where Bruce is kind of chained to the chair and he has
it turns into King Lear at
the
end,
like, kind of, you know, that's quite cool. That's quite cool. In terms of him being the absorbing man, what a waste of a character. I didn't get that at all. We don't really see his powers. He flashes about a bit and then it just ends, really.
Yeah, shit.
Overall thoughts, James. What are your overall thoughts of this movie? And where would you rank it in terms of the Hulk performances we've seen so far?
It's crap. and I think it's the worst
Please
single
don't
Hulk movie.
unsubscribe. Please don't unsubscribe.
Out of the two, there's elements I like, but I just found this really hard to get through. Like I would have, if I was watching this myself in my own time, I would have turned it off, but I had to finish it because we have to talk about it. So yeah, I mean, it's nowhere near as good as Incredible Hulk. I would say it's the worst Hulk movie. And you know what? I was rooting for it. I was coming in hoping I would like do a 180 on it and really love it. But I just don't.
For me, my least favourite portrayal of Bruce Banner, my least favourite portrayal of the Hulk. There are elements of it I did enjoy. I liked it when he hulked out. I liked the battle in the desert in bright daylight for a change, which was really nice. I liked that bit. I didn't mind him fighting the helicopters and the jets and things like that. I would argue, mind, that the full force of the American army is a little bit weak if it's 4 helicopters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
They need to get Trump to get the budget sorted for that, I think. Other than that, I can't see. I think as a kid, going to see this to see a Hulk film, you would come away sorely disappointed.
Oh, I was sorely disappointed. Like, I really hated it. I was 9 when I saw this. Peak Marvel fandom. I was gearing to love this and just hate. And I had never hated a superhero thing up to that point.
So this film broke your little heart.
It did. You know, it shaped me into the man I am today, though. So I have to appreciate it for that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. That's our review of Ang Lee's Hulk 2003. Please do check out the channel. We've got lots more of these. I Can View This all days. And please do go check out our other channel, One Good Scare Show, where me and James talk about all your horror movies. Thanks very much for watching, and that's your whack.